Hi and welcome. If this is your first time joining me, hi, my name's Loretta Bell. I'm an artist, creator, and yogi. And today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of information about paper. There's a lot of questions when it comes to arts and crafts and the different types of paper that artists use. So this will probably be 2 to 3 separate videos because there is a lot of information. I don't want to overwhelm people or keep the video too long. So I will try to go through this, not too quickly, but look away if you need to. I'm just going to turn my camera down. Here we go. Perfect. It's harder to do when you're live, but all right. So as you can see, here's, whoops. This light don't want to stay in place now. There we go. Hold on. Shoot. Can't believe I'm having issues with this now. Okay. All right. So as you get... Oh, come on. I'm not sure why that's not staying up. There. Sorry, you don't really need to see my legs, do you? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to redo this video. My arm is not staying up for some reason. Never had that problem. It's up here somewhere. There we go. Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay, so this is just a couple. I have a stack over here of some paper I want to go through very quickly. So, tracing paper. You've probably heard about this. A lot of architects, engineers, and people with similar professions usually are familiar with tracing paper. It is placed usually along the top of another sheet of paper, like here. Here's one I did of a VW bus that I actually took from a color photo because I wanted to transfer it basically onto another piece of paper. Like say I had a blank piece of paper here, but in order to transfer it, I would need a piece of graphite paper, formerly known as carbon paper, right? So here's one way that you could transfer this. You would use a graphite paper with the graphite down, and you would trace it. You could use a pen or pencil. I use the back of my paintbrush usually when I'm tracing something. Here, I'll just give you an idea. This isn't very straight, but so there is with graphite paper and tracing paper. So it's kind of like a vellum paper in a way, as far as like the see-through, the opaqueness, and the texture, the way it feels. Carbon or graphite paper has been around for dozens of years, and is still used today. Obviously, it comes mostly in a gray, but you can also get this with white. So if you were working on, say, a dark paper, there is black paper that you can use, and you would use a white graphite paper. Actually, it's sort of like a wax paper. That's different than parchment. So, anywho, so that's two. But the tracing paper, again, certain paper variations are made of cellulose and cotton fibers and contain lower opacity fillers, resulting in dense final product that retains significant moisture. Okay, so that's tracing paper, and you can also use that like on a, if you're tracing on a light board, but that's a different subject. Okay, so tracing paper, and they come in different size sheets. You can use them for pencil, pen, ink, marker. It's a smooth surface. It's acid-free. I usually get these at Hobby Lobby. I get them on sale. I don't usually, this is the first pack I've bought in quite a while. I don't use them that often, but I'm starting to now with more of the classes and things that I teach, the workshops. So there's that one. And since I have this one here, I'm not going to go in any particular order. This is called a mixed media paper, which means it's 90 pounds or 140 GSM. I'm going to go into the pound and GSM in a future video, just because it's kind of in depth and I don't want to confuse you. Now, even though this is called mixed media, it's only 140 pounds. You can use it for, pen, ink, crayons, a little bit of watercoloring, but you can see the paper does start to buckle when you use water on them, or acrylic. Here I did a little collage piece. Wasn't planning on showing all of these. This is just a little fun journal I was working in, doing 30 days of pumpkins. So again, as you can see, you can use it for watercolor, but you can also add a medium such as gesso on here to thicken the paper. Okay, you can use it for pen and ink, markers, distressed crayons would be great on here. Here's some oil pastels. So just be aware of the paper and the different purposes. So if you saw the mixed media, to me this is more of a, it's a lighter weight paper. It's more for drawing, sketching, or crayons, or distressed crayons, oil pastels. But you can still use watercolor and a little bit of acrylic on here. Because what I generally like to use is watercolor paper, which is 140 pound or 300 GSM. And this comes in a variety of sizes, from little pocket size ones all the way up to larger sheets of paper. And again, I get the ones that are usually, I like to get them when they're on sale. You can get them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I think even Joann Fabrics has been carrying art supplies. And of course, you can get them on Amazon or at your fine craft or fine art stores. Maybe a different brand. And also, this is cold pressed. And what cold pressed means is that it's a rougher texture. It's got some tooth to it, so it really absorbs the material, the medium that you're putting on here, whether it's acrylic or watercolor or gouache. You're going to see a little bit of texture, a little bumpiness when you use oil pastels or crayons. You'll see that. And you can still use gesso on here or modeling paste. Let me see if I have something. Here's one I was working on the other day. And actually this is a smoother paper, but you can see texture from gesso and a stencil that I used. Then I did some collaging. There's distressed crayons, there's acrylics here. So this one, and as well as ephemera, this has a variety of mediums on it. So cold pressed is my favorite, next to handmade paper. So let me show you that real quick while I'm on that subject. Here is a little book of handmade paper. It's got that nice torn, ragged edges. I love that. This is one of my favorite pieces I did with a little bit of collage. I think there's some spray inks here, acrylic paints, and a little bit of stamping down here as well. But I just like the feel of it. I love the texture. You can use pencil, graphite. You can use all kinds of mediums on handmade paper. And this comes in different sizes as well. You can also make your own. You can also repurpose paper, taking old magazines or flyers and emulsifying it, and that's a whole nother process for a different video. So there are those. And here's another type of watercolor paper. See, it's 140 pounds. This one I happened to get at the art museum in the gift shop, and it's in a block, so you kind of have to, it's like arches where you have to find the little divot. There's a little divot in here somewhere where you can actually peel apart these pieces of paper. They're very thick, and again, I can't even find the little divot where I'm supposed to tear it apart without ruining my nails. There we go. You can see here where you can thumb through this. So this is, again, 140 pound watercolor, or mixed media as I prefer. And it's got that rough texture, so that's cold pressed. And it'll be like that on both sides of the paper. This was just fun because it's in a circle instead of in a rectangle or a square. So that's a fun kind of paper to play with. And let's see, while I'm talking about the different weights of paper, this is another mixed media one that you can use with ink, watercolor, acrylic, art markers, pastels, collage, colored pencil. This one's only 128 pounds, so it's between, you know, some of the others. It does have a smooth texture, so it's what they call hot pressed, as opposed to your cold pressed paper. So I don't know what's in here, what I'm going to be flipping through. But as you can see, the paper does start to warp a little bit when you're using water in it. Or this is, I think, was just all watercolors. And there's different types of watercolors. You can use the, you know, the creamy kind, the cake kind, which you use more water. There's also these little pigments you can get, these little powders. So those come in different forms as well. This is just one I like to play in, but you can see how the paper starts to bend and warp. And there is a fix to this. If you paint the back of this with usually gesso, which is a primer, just get some gesso out, or even just paint, and you paint the back, that'll help flatten it. Or if I put this book or journal or the page itself, if I tore that out and you put it between some other heavy books or other objects, that would also help flatten those pages back down. So that's just a different couple of types of paper that I use in my studio. I would like to mention, let's see, of course we're all familiar with copy paper, just your regular bond paper. There's letterhead paper. I know there are special papers that companies use for their letterhead. It's usually a little bit thicker, you know, like linen papers. And it's usually contains a lot of cotton. It's a little more durable, and it's hot press because it's usually smoother paper. It's not going to have that texture in it. Let's see. Of course, we're familiar with newsprint. I don't think I have any on my desk at the moment here. Yeah, you don't see much newsprint around right now. There is more recycled paper, as I've mentioned. You can repurpose direct mail and newspapers and magazines, and that would be considered recycled, even though if it's a handmade paper. Like here's another one of my handmade favorite ones that I love, that I play with different spray inks and just trying different color combinations. There's the gold pen. So recycled paper is basically from 100% post-consumer waste. And that, as you've seen, you know, from paper bags in stores and other products, packaging has been made from recycled, which is basically recycled paper, taking other paper, cardboard, emulsifying it, putting it on a screen, and creating paper, which brings me to corrugated or corrugated paper, which this is you know, used for, it could be the thinner paper that's just used like around your coffee cups when you go to McDonald's or a fast food place, and they have a little bit of cardboard wrapped around your to-go cup to help protect you from the heat, the hot water or whatever's inside your cup. So that would be your corrugated paper there. And sometimes it's fluted like this. Comes in a variety of colors now as well, and different weights. So this is, I just made a trading card out of one of these. This is fun to use for art, especially for like mixed media. Then of course we have some craft paper. You can buy this on a roll like this. I get this at the dollar store. Sometimes I just cover my table I'm working on, and it's great for writing notes on. It's great for any ink or stamping, using my brayer, things like that, or my stencil brush when I'm cleaning off excess paint on there. Yeah, I need to clean these. So craft paper is also great for mixed media and art as well, using it as part of another piece. Then we've got, oh gosh, so many. Let's see. So craft paper, corrugated, tracing paper. We've talked about a lot of different papers here. Handmade, watercolor. Here's another one I wanted to mention. This is a mineral paper. It's made from calcium carbonate, and it's great for, it's very much like Yupo paper, which is used for a lot for alcohol ink, but also because it's very smooth. It's like thermal-like, so it's very smooth, very pliable, as you can see. I've been using it for some watercolor pieces I'm working on, but you can use it for alcohol inks, but also, you know, other paints as well. Here's one I was using the powdered pigments on with just water and a brush. So just a couple of fun designs, watching how they bloom with wet on wet there. And there's that one. Let's see, so that's our mineral paper, and it comes different sizes. Again, it's a vellum surface. It's acid free, which means it won't yellow on you. You can use it with watercolors, gouache, graphite, colored pencils, charcoal, pastels, alcohol ink, ink jets, acrylics, pen and ink, and markers. So very versatile. But look at it, it's a heavy paper too. It's very heavy, even though it's very pliable. And let's see, that I usually get through Amazon. Sometimes you can find it in the art stores. I wanted to bring this one out. It's called a paper palette. It's actually, they're used for your color mixing. It's like a palette, but it is a type of paper where this is the side you would put your paints on, and you could keep them wetter longer by using this type of material. I usually, if I have leftover paints, I will fold it up and use these paints on another piece of paper just as a background, so I don't waste my paint. And this one has the color chart in there, the color wheel, and your value, which is awesome. So that's a great tool to have. And this is made with 43 pound. And as I said, I'll talk about the weights in a future video. Okay, it's almost 20 minutes in, so I'm just going to do a few more I'll mention. This is hemp paper. Now, hemp paper is consists of exclusively or a large extent to pulp obtained from fibers of industrial hemp. Products are mainly specialized papers such as cigarette paper, banknotes, or filter papers. Compared to wood pulp, hemp pulp offers 4 to 5 times longer fiber, a significantly lower lignin fraction, as well as higher tear resistance and tensile strength. Because the paper industry's processes have been optimized for wood as the feedstock, production costs currently are much higher than that for paper from wood. So you're seeing today more paper products coming from different things other than wood, such as bamboo or the hemp paper, but rice paper. And I want to talk about next is sugar cane. So sugar cane provides an alternative to traditional wood papers and is completely tree-free. It is sugar cane made from the fibrous remains that are generated during the sugar production. They're also processed further and turned into pulp to produce the sugarcane product. So this is a 70% sugarcane fiber and 30% cotton rag. So this is the sugarcane. It's 290 grams or 135 pounds. So very versatile, very, it's a nice thicker paper. This one's put out, as you can see, by Mule, and I picked these up at the Watercolor Society convention recently. So this is the basic watercolor paper, 300 grams, and there's the sugarcane. And these are both cold pressed, which means they have a kind of a rougher texture. A little bit, it has that tooth to it. and this one is 290 grams. So just a little bit lesser density, but still very durable, beautiful paper to use for watercolors or acrylics or gouache, mixed media, anything like that. Of course, some of these you might pay a little bit more for as well. I did want to mention, of course, rice paper. Now it is smooth on one side and a little bit rough on the other. Now this is constructed of paper-like materials made from different plants. It could be made from, it was used in China commonly to support a medium for gouache, and then obviously made its way over here. And of course the Chinese medicinal plant is used now for painting, but making artificial flowers, for making shoe soles. And it can be made from rice, but it's also made, I think, from other plants, not just rice. But again, it's a thinner paper. It's still, I wouldn't be putting like, you could use it more for like, if you're using heavier materials such as acrylics or your gouache or things like that, you could certainly use it, but I would definitely have something behind it. It's great more for using in a collage. But rice paper is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of stamping with it or staining, whether you're using inks or herbs, spices, your coffee, tea, things like that. It's a lot of fun for those materials as well. And that brings me to this one. I heard about something called mulberry paper last year, and I ordered this online, and these are different types of mulberry. I ordered this from Amazon. Even this envelope is made from handmade mulberry paper. You can see the actual leaves and flowers that are in here. Those are real. I thought that was just the coolest thing. But inside this envelope is mulberry paper. So let me see if I got this open. There's different textures, and obviously some of it has been, and I think that the colors are natural pigments, natural dyes. They're not, it hasn't been dyed to this color. It's just what they are. So you get beautiful paper to work with. You can use this as a background. You can use it in a collage or a mixed media piece. And this is, it's a rice paper. It's smooth, thin, crackly, and strong. Is named as a wrapper for rice and is made from bark fibers of the paper mulberry tree. It is used for origami, for calligraphy, paper screens, and clothing. It is stronger than commercially made wood pulp paper. It's made from rice straw. So depending on the type of mulberry used, it's named kozo, gampi, or mitsumata. The fibers come from the bark of the paper mulberry, not the inner wood or the pith. And traditionally the paper is made by hand. So again, some beautiful handmade. If you want some beautiful papers for a project you're working on, mulberry would be a wonderful choice. If you just look at those natural fibers and colors in there. So I think that's all I'm going to share. I mean, obviously there's different other paper, your linen, your paper like that, paper towels, paper plates, paper napkins, lots of types of paper out there. Tissue paper. We didn't get into vellum today, or thermals, or cardstocks, coated and uncoated, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. So just be aware there are lots of fun paper out there you can play with, use different mediums on to create and have fun with. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love questions. I love to do research. I kind of geek out on that some too. And so I'm kind of both right and left-brained, but I definitely love being creative, and I love sharing information with you. So thank you for watching. I hope you will like and comment this and subscribe if you haven't already. to my channel. I hope to be posting regularly here, and I look forward to seeing you either here or on my social media and Facebook or Instagram. And again, please feel free to comment. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Now go create something.